Hello and welcome to 2B2T. So, first of all, I'd like to go out and say I am a complete and total dumbass. So, when I recorded this, I was narrating as playing, and after I finished and turned off recording, I noticed I was still muted. So, I spent 47 minutes talking to myself with the mic muted. So, I am so not happy. Right, anyway, so I can't remember everything that was came up in that video, so I guess I'm narrating over gameplay. So yeah, so this is a idea I had, and I can't for the life of me remember where I had the idea. And the idea is I log on an alt account. So this is not my main account I normally play on. This is an alt account that I've recently made called OLN Alt. Basically, Old Lady North Alt, but abbreviated. And I was wondering, how hard would it be to be a vanilla player, make your way into the end, find an unlooted ship, and get yourself an elytra without actually having already got one. So as you may see, it's very dark here right now because I have chosen at this point in time not to have my client turned on. I do have access to it. That was deliberate because it was a really bad spawn. It just was like, yeah, I'm going nowhere there. Yeah, so I do have access to it. I may choose to use it in the future, but as it stands at the moment, I am deciding not to. I might download resource packs because I know I can get Fulbright as a resource pack. I do have it on more recent versions where I wasn't using a client for. Same with X-Ray, you can get it as a resource pack, and a few other things which are also available to me if I choose to. But I may just case of, well, you know what, if I can download it as a resource pack and I have it on the client, then I'll just use them off the client and take it from there. So, right, so let's get to it. So yeah, so the whole idea is I'm going to escape from spawn. I'm going to make my way out far enough to basically do some basic farming, do some mining, so I can get myself into diamond armor, I can get myself diamond tools, but I can't have enchanted diamond armor or tools. So I could go to one of the kits that I've left out and just take one of those kits, or I could get my main account to find me and give me gear. I don't want to do that. I want to do this in a way as vanilla as possible. I could make an enchantment table and just get ordinary enchantments. And I think I'm yeah, so now I may change my mind on the client, but that's the one thing I am definitely going to be doing. So as you can see, in the chest, empty, no gear. And I do apologise for the dogs next door barking. They've decided, since I'm recording for the second time, and there you go, my hack client, just bring it up to show you that everything is indeed turned off. So have access to it, choose not to use it. So that's what the idea is. So these videos will be, as a rule, between 30 and 45 minutes long. I did make a slight mistake on this one. I thought I'd been on for 45 minutes, but it was actually 47 minutes because I didn't check the time properly when I pressed go. So I do apologise. Next time I do a video, I will make sure what time it is when I log on. And the idea is I'm going to log on every day to do this. So we'll see how we get on and see how we progress. So I could do really well and die immediately, especially when it comes to heading into the end, because I'm going to be heading in without enchantments. So try to get down to any end portal, which are all at bedrock layer, should be fun without feather falling forth. Now, if I do during my time come across any stashes or gear, or even find anybody's with good gear, I will put them to one side, make a note of where they are. You know, if it's stuff on the ground where somebody's died, I'll put it in the chest, and I will send my main account to pick them up. So yes, even if I find stuff, I am not wearing enchanted. So first order of business is we need to get out of spawn. We seem to be on a reasonably good path. Yeah, so the game has been a bit laggy. I don't know why, but when I'm using Optifine, it always defaults my video to fancy graphics instead of just fast, and it really messes up the frame rate and makes it really laggy. So I have to try and remember to go and change that back over. I don't know why it defaults to that. It defaults to so many things. And every time I log on, it's back on it again. It's like if I load Minecraft on a more recent version, because some of the servers I play on are on a more recent version of Minecraft, and then I load up 1.12, I've always got to redo my keybinds. It's so annoying. It doesn't affect it the other way, but going to from a more recent version back to an older version always resets the keybinds, and it's so annoying. You log in, you're thinking, why is that button not doing what I want it to do? Because I do have certain keybinds set to certain things. My crouch isn't the left shift button, it's the Q, because it's too close to forward and I'd be hitting it all the time and throwing stuff out my inventory if I kept that as my throw out of inventory key. That's now set to C. My change perspective is R, because I change perspective all the time, and I have extra buttons on my mouse, so my sprint is actually one of the extra buttons on the mouse. This works good for me. So we seem to have found a good road. Now, this part of the other one, I have been, well, to be honest, most of Spawn I've been over those many times. And a lot of these paths, especially that stone pathway we just passed, are new. I'm sure I've never seen them before. Now, I haven't been around every single inch, but I have, over time, covered quite a big area of Spawn, you know, one way or another. And yeah, it seems to be some new paths and stuff going in. So with these videos, I will probably record so many before I start uploading so that the videos are always running behind. I could upload it straight away, and then anybody watches it knows where I logged off because of, hey, right, I'm done for today, logging off, I'll upload this video straight away. And guess where I logged off, everybody, because though I'm not showing my coordinates because not my client up, I will occasionally be bringing the coordinates up using F3. So basically, because you know where I've left myself, come and get me. Now, I don't know if I'm going to upload these videos every day. I might upload them once a week. And I think probably I'll more likely do that. So actually that just makes the whole thing I just said about running them behind a moot point, because it's going to happen anyway. And because I try and keep a regular schedule of weekly upload, that would tie in well with that, because I've got one kit video went out today, and there's one more kit video to go out, and there's no more videos pending. I normally like to have so many pending, so it takes pressure off. There was another video that was supposed to go out, but I'll come to that in a minute. However, it's been pulled. So maybe having these go up once a week, but not just have these constantly. So maybe every so often throw in a different video, because I still need to do more at the end project, so I want to do videos on that. I've got a video in the works for escaping Spawn on Constantium, which is not going to be similar to this. Yeah, I'm debating at this point whether to go into the nether or not. Based on our location, we're not far from the cross axis, and we're still within what I call the 200 block in the nether, which is 2 to 300 block from the 0, nether tends to be where most of the portal traps are. So based on the coordinates, nether equivalent would put us within that range. So I'm always a bit wary within the first, I suppose, 4,000 blocks of going into the nether unless I'm not particularly fussed about getting portal trapped, and I don't really fancy doing that on these videos because I don't intend to edit them. So yeah, so occasionally you might see me stopping and debating about things. It was discussed at the time, unfortunately it never recorded. So yes, a couple of things then sprang to mind and I've forgotten what all of them were. Alright, yeah, so I don't intend to edit these videos, as in I don't intend to cut bits out, I don't intend to speed things up. Right now I'm wishing I could use my hack client and turn on entity control, but no, we're not using our client, so it just goes straight past him and beeping as we go. Yeah, so yes, if I forget to turn on my mic, I will narrate over it. I will probably also put some music in the background of them. But as for actual editing of the video footage, no. They are going to be as raw as possible. So yes, you're going to get to watch me walk along an obsidian road, which is under an obsidian ceiling, in the dark, for 40 minutes. Okay, not literally, but you get the gist. There will be times when the entire video will be me needing to get some food, and I will literally be fishing for 40 minutes. I know that doesn't sound exciting. Doesn't sound exciting to me. But in a sense, this is going to be like a diary. So I'm not cutting bits out. I'm not speeding things up. You're going to get a realistic view of what it's like. How long it actually takes. What the train's like. And you know, how monotonous it can be at times if you get yourself on a good path. Because this, to me, has always been the killer. You get yourself on a really good path and you're heading out, and the temptation to go off path is so tempting because it's temptation, because it's monotonous. It gets boring. You know, you can, if you have baritone, you can turn that on and stuff, which never seems like a good idea to me because there's that many pitfalls and other issues where you kind of need to be paying attention. Like here. Did confuse me for a second, I'm not going to lie, I had to check my coordinates, which you'll see me do in a moment, because for a moment I thought, I'm pretty sure I'm not near the, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not near the self-access. But it looks like somebody's making a new waterway. There's so much stuff going on. There's so many groups on 2B doing stuff, and I have no idea who half these groups are. Which is bad because I've been on for 12 months. And you know, I've heard of a few of them, but for the most part, I've tended to keep to myself. Now, I don't just play on 2B, I do play on a couple of other servers. I've been playing a lot on Constantium. Especially as Constantium has taken the plunge. They've updated. And in a way, it's a good thing that the footage didn't, all the audio didn't record, because I think I probably spent 20 minutes ranting about the fact that 2B still hasn't updated, and you know, other servers like 9B still haven't updated. So, yeah, wouldn't want you to miss out. So the gist of it was, there's no reason for them not to update. And this isn't just 2B and Housemaster. Other servers are also just sitting there. Not the admins aren't saying anything to the player base. They're just sitting, and you don't know what's happening. You know, is it going to happen? Are they working on it? And it's frustrating because you feel like you're being deliberately kept in the dark. occasionally literally. And yeah, I've seen a massive difference in 12 months. Not just on 2B, but also on 9B, because not only after I joined 2B, I also joined 9B, 9T as well. Don't have a base on that, all I do is fly around and explore. When I joined that about 12 months ago, at peak time there was always well over 100 players on, probably maybe like 130 players on. Now this is last year, so this is pretty much at the end of COVID, no lockdowns going on. I wasn't here for the chaos of the lockdowns. I've come in after the fact. Now, at peak times, you tend to see maybe 80 players, 90 max. The player numbers seem to be going down. It's the same on 2B. When I first joined, at what would be peak time, so especially at weekend, so late evening, night time for me, which would be late afternoon, early afternoon in the US, I would see the queue for priority. So service full, so even if you've got priority, you have the queue. Often the amount in the queue would be 20, 30, possibly 40 people. It's very rare these days I see it going double figures. Occasionally I'll log in, say late on a Saturday in the UK, so see 8 hours difference between us and the Pacific coast, so it's 10 o'clock here, it's what, about 2 o'clock for you guys? Yeah, so I do apologise. I did just have to work that out. Yeah, and it's very rare I see it now going double figures. When I first joined, the first few months, because I never really went near the Nether Hub for a good while afterwards, there was a few times I went in and you were near the Nether Hub, there were always players. There was either always players crystal PvPing, or there was always players griefing the highways. You could not go anywhere near it without bumping into somebody. Now, I've walked straight through 0-0 many times and not with absolutely no gear, but naked, as much as you can be on Minecraft, and not seen a soul. Yeah. At this point I just remembered that I am using Optifine, and I can indeed turn on dynamic lighting, which would make things a lot easier for dealing with areas that are dark. There we go, turn on dynamic lighting. Oh dear. Just checking the different versions. Honestly, yeah, because it's not the first torch I've passed. Just watching this back, I realised how many times I've passed torches, and I could have just picked one up and made use of it. So yeah, so I am seeing in 12 months a reduction in the player numbers. At peak time, sometimes if I'm doing other things, I might just put my mouse over and see how many people, the icon, and it'll show you like how many people are in the queue. Once upon a time there would have been like 600 people in regular queue. Now at most, sorry, I do apologise for being a little bit groggy. Now at most you see maybe 400 or 500 people. The numbers are dropping because people are feeling let down. 12 months ago, the test server was up and running several times. Sometimes it would be up for a bit and then down, and then it would come back up again. And then after, I think it was probably May or June, some changes were made, so you can now log on to the main server with a more recent version, but you're not playing at that most recent version. You can just log in. So I can log in on 1.19 with a 1.19 client. Unfortunately, Meteor Fly doesn't work because the best elytra fly I've ever used is on Meteor. Sorry if you disagree with me. Maybe not the best for other things, but for actual elytra fly, I've used the elytra fly on Future, I've used it on Impact, I've used it on Worst, I've used it on Russia, and I've used it on Meteor. And there's a lot of other clients out there, but they're the ones I've tried, and Meteor's elytra fly is the best that I've ever used. Other things it may be lacking on, but as a whole, it's a good server. A good client. Anyway, back to what we were discussing. Yeah, so yeah, after about May or June it was, test server was turned off because I did try several times to log on the test server, and it wasn't an option. It would just say server down. You're in a queue for a server that's no longer active. Yada yada. So then, was it around Halloween or something? And House turned off the main server and put everybody on the test server, running on I think 19.3, and he had it for like 12 hours or a day at most, and then it went back again. And then of course there was the April Fool's thing, which I don't know how many of you fell for, but as soon as I saw messages come up like, oh, 2B's updated, I just looked at the date and went, no, April Fool's. And I didn't even bother. I saw it for what it was straight away, and I thought, you know what, I'm not messing around because we need to be on 19.4, which means open that up, and just, yeah, it just, for something that I knew wasn't really, just didn't see much point. So yeah, so just over 12 months, I've seen a massive decline in the numbers. Now, that may be because I'm just seeing it at certain times of day, but it's, it should be something that should be worrying the admins. And again, this isn't just 2B and it's not just House. It's the same for other servers I play on, with one exception. Because the other server I've been spending most of my time on is Constantium. And they've done it. They've gone for it. They've updated. They are running on 1.19.2. And I am loving it. Yeah, there's, things which I don't have access to because I'm using Meteor client on that one. So yeah, finding base hunting is a bit difficult because you can't track with new chunks. So just use what you know about the changes. It's gone straight from 1.12 to 1.19. So if you're flying across an area and there's no kelp and seagrass, it's all chunks. If it's not clear whether you're in an old or newer chunks, turn on X-ray. Can you see copper above level 0? Yes, then you're in new chunks. It's a bit longer, you're in the nether. Do you see gold? If you fly through the nether and the chunks have already been loaded, but it's not obviously a new biome, is gold exposed? Do you see gold exposed in the netherrack? Because if you do, then you're in new chunks. Do an X-ray. Can you see any? No, you don't see quartz. Then you're in old chunks. Use your knowledge of what changes have happened for doing that. And it's been great. It's been so much fun. Now, when I first was joining 2B and was looking at other servers, I did consider Constantium. And I was put off by the fact that you had to apply to be whitelisted. And also, when I was looking on it and it was showing you how many players are on, I think it was like less than 10 at that particular time. I was thinking, well, I don't want that. I don't want to be at that point on a server where there's nobody else playing. Kind of want the challenge of not getting killed. So I didn't bother. Now, Constantium at the moment has done away with the whitelist. Whether the admin decides to bring it back, don't know. At the moment, I don't think he plans to. Now, when I go on during the quieter times of day, it tends to be between 20 and 30 players. But then as the day goes on, we normally push in between 60 and 80. Now, it doesn't seem a huge amount, but when you think 12 months ago, it was lucky it was hitting double figures. And so that is a massive increase. And that's only since the beginning of December when it updated. There's been times when I've been on there and it's been pushing close to 100 players. Now that does cause a certain amount of lag because you could be entering to chunks which have previously been loaded, but are only just now being loaded on the 1.19 for the first time, so the deep slate layer is loading in. So they've put plugins in. So new areas, elytra fly is on. It will actually flash up that if you're going too fast and you need to turn it down, it won't let you move. So you just reduce the speed. I think it's 1.402 is approximately the best speed you can get, and you can fly normally. Access to all the new chunks, and there's a good chance that once Pop 1.20 comes out, might take them a little bit. They may run a test server for a couple of months like they did on the update to 1.19, because they didn't go straight to it. They did run a test server for a little bit. Likely they'll update. But even when there's a lot of players on and it's lagging, the I've seen the TPS drop to 6. And when there's normally about 50 players on, you're normally about 15. The gameplay is still smooth. The only issues is you'll see mobs moving slowly, and it might take a few seconds for chests to open. But that's only when the TPS is at its lowest. Most of the time, I don't even realise that TPS is as low as it is. Anything above 12, to be honest, half the time you don't even notice it because the gameplay is so smooth. So it is doable. Now, I get it for 2B, it's going to be that much harder because the amount of people on at any given time. You're not going to have that luxury of case of, well, when a few players are on, it'll be better. And especially when it updates, it's going to get hit hard. More players are going to come on. And they're going to try and like the game, like the server, as they do on a day-to-day. So I get it, it's a lot more work. But other servers don't have that excuse. 9B doesn't have that excuse. Because they get pulling the same sort of numbers as Constantium. So again, yes, they'll probably end up with a few more, but it's not going to be the same sort of numbers as you're getting on here. So yeah, it's frustrating, and I just realised I probably ranted for about 10 minutes about this, because yeah, it's annoying, and I'll be honest, I think it's disrespectful to the players, especially on someone like 2B. Yeah, at this point, my finger is itching to turn on the free cam. It really was. I did want to just turn on the free cam and have a look, but in this case, nope, we're not doing it. So yeah, I get it. There's issues, there's problems and stuff, but there's people paying to play on this server. I've paid twice this month for the 2 accounts, and there's other people who have far more accounts than that, and are paying a considerable amount each month to play on the server. So a little bit of communication, a little bit of, right, I know you're frustrated, I know you really want it to update, I know you've not had access to the test server now for 10 months, this is where we're at. Okay, these are the issues we're looking at the moment, and we can't give you a time frame of when it's going to happen, but we'll keep you updated. But we are talking about Housemaster here, so yeah. Oh dear. So he's not exactly well known for his communication skills, is he? Yes, House. I'm talking about you. It's not that difficult. And I know people on this server can be ungrateful and toxic and pain in the ass, but you knew what you're getting into when you bought the thing. So yeah, so anyway, rant over on that one. So So just want to point out, I'm not quite sure how far along. We'll be checking the coordinates at some point soon, but notice that we have not depleted any hunger and we've taken no damage at this point. And we obviously a good way out. I expect probably we're coming up close to the 5k if we haven't already passed it. So yeah, if you escape and spawn, guys, and you get yourself on a good path, stick to it. I know it can be boring, I know the temptation sometimes to go off the path is there, but 9 times out of 10 if you're on a good path, you're going to get out of spawn without any issue. In truth, most of the times I walk out of spawn without any issue. The only time I had the issue when I was doing those videos escaping spawn, and I can't believe how many times I died. And I'm there thinking, normally I have no problems. What's going on? I have done this before. It's not that difficult. But when I first joined, I did find it harder. I don't think it was any harder. I found it harder because in my head I was convinced from everything I heard that escaping spawn on 2B was difficult. And so mentally I'm prepared for it to be difficult, so I made it difficult. To some degree, yeah, I was intimidated by escaping spawn. But after doing it a few times, you realise it's not that hard. Yeah, occasionally you get bad spawns like I did at the beginning. And if you've come through regular queue, that's not ideal. Because, you know, where I jumped into lava because I knew there was no point even attempting to continue in that location. That's not always an option, and I get that. You know, with having priority queue, then you know it's like, yeah, immediately respawn. But you know, if you had a spawn like I just had this one, you know, look how easy it's been. You know, we had a little bit of normal terrain, saw the path, got onto that, and then got onto some obsidian road, and haven't come off it since. And only had a few areas where it was, you know, the path was a bit damaged or a bit narrow. So yeah, sometimes we are our own worst enemies. So as I go along, I am still occasionally contemplating heading into the Nether, but it doesn't make sense at this point because there's no guarantee I'd be going out on the ceiling and close enough in that it's still going to be in the more destructive area. It's been quite entertaining to watch because initially it was 1,000 blocks square around 0, in the Nether was pure destruction. But once you got past that, there was like a wall for a while that went round and it contained it. That's no longer the case. I don't know what's going on, whether this is a deliberate thing or not. But that is now spread out to about the 2,000 block mark. And I've also noticed nearer the centre, there's been a lot of work of clearing the lava. So you look down, still a ton of withers, but there's no lava. All the source blocks have been removed. Now, don't know if that's because of wither strikes or actual players have made a point. I don't know if there's some project going on where the plan is to actually completely clear the centre. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, there we go. We are 6,000 blocks out. And we haven't depleted any hunger yet or taken any damage. So, and normally I class escaping spawn as when you find trees, and you normally find them about 5,000 onwards. So probably if I come off this path and was to head out, I would, within a couple hundred blocks, I would find trees. But since we're doing alright, it makes sense to stay on this. I do know the diagonals don't continue for any great distance. I've flown around spawn too many times, and I'm well aware that there is no. Occasionally you'll come past areas where somebody's made a path, but as a rule there is no dedicated path I can do on the axis after a little way. And I can't remember what we were talking about. I suppose I could pause narration and listen back to what I've recorded so far, but yeah, I'm obviously doing that. It was bad enough doing this the first time, let alone doing it a second time. So anyway, I do apologise for my rant. Right, so now I've had that, I have just remembered something else. I didn't realise it at the time, and I didn't realise it later on when I commented on it. So remember, that sounds very cryptic. So when I first joined, I set myself 3 rules. No hack client, no leaking coordinates, no griefing. Didn't take me long to break the first one, no hack client, because I realised what a benefit it would be. And yeah, I found quite a few stashes without the use of one. You know, I would just use an X-ray. But I was very adamant on the no leaking coordinates. And that is something I did. And I didn't realise at the time that I did it. So when I first put kits out, I left, the very first 2 I left were a bit further out, and after some thought I decided I wasn't going to use them again because they were never found. So one of them was at this tree plantation, which last time I visited, which was shown on one of the videos, it'd been griefed. Nothing to do with me. I didn't know it'd been griefed until I got there. You know, it was a shame because that plantation had been there for a while, but it was still close to spawn, so it was inevitable. The other one was on an island, and I think it was called the Pop Bob Blood Island. And there was a structure on it, and there was some signs, and some other, it was redstone dust scattered around it to represent blood. And I showed it, the kit, and, you know, said about the island sort of thing and the signs and stuff. You know, some of them were claiming to be dated back a good few years. And I never thought, didn't occur to me that I was showing the coordinates. I knew I was showing the coordinates, but it just did not twig that by doing so, I was leaking the coordinates of the base. Because in my mind, I was thinking, anything within a certain distance of spawn is fair game, because likely it's going to get found anyway. The same, there was a weird build I went past going there. Now I haven't been back to see it, so I don't know if it's still standing where it's been griefed or not. And that had signs dating back a couple of years, and I suspect they're probably true. And I showed the coordinates. It just did not occur to me that I should have taken the coordinates off or blurred them out. Because in my mind I was thinking, we're still at spawn. It's going to get found soon anyway, so it shouldn't matter. So I'd like to take this opportunity to apologise, because that's the one rule that I was so adamant I wouldn't break, and to have broken it and not even realised I'd broken it. And when I commented on the most recent kit video, I think it is, that I'd been there and the kit had gone and somebody had been there, even then it didn't twig that I had leaked it. You know, I commented on the fact that obviously somebody must be watching my videos, and I suspect griefing groups have members watching any content that comes up to do a 2B2T in the hope of finding bases and stuff. Yeah, guys, you're not subtle. It was kind of obvious that that's what had happened, because that kit had been there from day one. It was one of the first kits I'd put out, so it had been there for like 9 months and nobody had found it. And then the moment I post a video showing where it is, it gets griefed and signs are left for a player who's either been on for a long time or a group. I'm still not sure to this day whether it's a single player or a group. So yeah, that kind of gave it away that, yeah, that was what was happening. Oh dear. So yeah, If I deliberately made the decision that I was going to leave the coordinates, that would be one thing. You know, wouldn't be the best thing, but at least I'd made that conscious decision. But the fact that I did it and was oblivious to the fact that's what I was doing, I knew I had the coordinates out there. It wasn't the case I forgot to take them down. But I hadn't put two and two together that I had just leaked them. So I want to apologise that I did that to those two locations. At some point I will actually check on the other one, which was the random weird soily, cobbly, tree buildy thing. I don't know how to describe it. It was a very strange thing. And see whether it took any damage, whether it's still standing and been ignored, or whether it also had been griefed. And I'll be honest, I will be sad if it has been griefed, because, yep, 7,000, and we took a bit of damage from the zombie, and that was only because I wasn't able to run past him fast enough. So yeah, so time, I think, to leave the path, because we're over 7,000 blocks out. So I think it's time to find some trees and possibly get some food, because it'll be really annoying to die at this point. It's not like I can go in the ender chest and get myself some food at this point. So normal rule of thumb here is find some trees and start breaking the leaves and hope that some apples drop. Which is another reason why I kind of, I like playing on Constantium, because I could just punch fish. There's fish swimming around. Mobs spawn a lot closer into spawn. You can spawn and there's mobs right there, chicken, sheep. Not many, but on 2B you'd be looking to find anything within 30,000 blocks. Yeah, I think I've seen rabbits around 30k, but I don't know, I can't remember seeing anything else. So, yeah. Now it sounds like I'm, because of only want to play it on Constantium. And I'll be honest, I love playing on it because of it being on a more decent version. But if 2B was to update, I probably wouldn't play on Constantium half as much as I would play on 2B. Because there's so many things that I want to do. So many things I want to try. Now I've done them to small degrees on Constantium, but I would really love to do on 2B. But that all depends on the admins, whether they ever get around to doing it. Or whether I'll die of old age first. There you go, see, trees. Alright, time to get some wood and see if we can get some food. So if you're escaping, one thing I would recommend is when you get to trees is break the leaves, because you need apples. Now, this is something I did mention when I first recorded it, and I'll mention it again because it is something I've noticed, and I don't know if it's just, it appears to be that way, or if it actually genuinely is. So if I am out at my base and I cut down a tree, leaf blocks start to break up and fall. We all know this. Occasionally saplings will fall. If it's an oak tree, occasionally we will get. Yeah. Suddenly remember that you can do that. I know. So occasionally you'll get apples. But I've noticed when you're close to spawn, it's very, very slow. They break down far slower. The same as you plant saplings. They take longer to grow. Or I've planted food before now close to spawn, and they take longer for the wheat to ripen or the potatoes or carrots to grow, but go further out and it doesn't seem to take as long. Now, I don't know, this is just a perception thing where for some reason it just seems to be the case, or if this is something other people have noticed and gone, yeah, actually we've noticed this and looked into it, and it generally does I know. I'm not so used to having such a small tab. Again. I don't know if I'm going to stick to not using the hack client. I'm not rushing to turn it on. At the moment, I don't think it's really that necessary. But as they go further out, having it turned on for like ESP and stuff might be useful. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, guys, if you're ever in this situation and you're... Because I'm too confused why this isn't big enough. No, there must be the odd bit that's still stuck in there. Yeah, if you get some saplings, plant them. Because, yes, they do take forever to grow, but they will grow. And the next person who comes along needing wood could very well be you. So, I'd say this to everybody, you know, especially near spawn. You know, replant. Sorry, I'm laughing because my husband's just tiptoed past because he can hear me talking and he's trying not to make a noise. And he's waving. Because he knows I'm recording. Bless him. I think he's getting ready to go for a shower. Which is fine, darling. You go ahead and have a shower, don't worry. I don't think anybody's going to mind listening to you singing. Oh dear. Yeah. Yeah, so if anybody else has noticed that, or maybe know why it does that, please let me know. Ah dear. Yes, it's refusing to give me apples. You may have saplings. Yes, have lots of saplings. But we're not going to give you any apples because... Oh, sorry, I just noticed there was actually somebody cleared the leaves and the wood was still there. So I shall have to get that. Yeah. So I'll be you know, this session is coming to an end soon. So for the minute, just get to watch me. Why are you not giving me apples? I want food. Give me food. Not saplings, food. So hopefully, next one we'll be able to get out a little bit further. Maybe far enough to get a little bit of a farm going. Because at the moment, you can see there's no grass. So there's no seeds. I have no armor, no weapons, so I certainly don't want to be trying to take on a skeleton. See, the mob spawn rate's weird as well. Now this is something I've been watching quite a bit because I did have a creeper farm for a bit, which was pretty much didn't work. Anyway, I'll come on to that next time because I'm about to log off. So anyway, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching and goodbye.